Hey guys, welcome back to Mischief Maker TV. Now, as you guys are well aware, Mischief Maker has been chilling in the backyard in Pennsylvania for the past week, waiting for parts. Well, guess what? The parts are here, they're in, we have a lot of work to get done, so let's get to it. Today's episode is all about prepping everything to put back into Mischief Maker. So what does that mean? It means that I'm going to have to take those spindles and I'm going to have to remove some of the material so that it lines up perfectly with that brake bracket. I'm then going to move on to removing that U-joint from the passenger axle shaft side. Now, it actually doesn't look too shabby and it looks pretty good, but we are upgrading to those Yukon super joints, so that one has to come out, but I'll keep it just in case. Then I'm going to open those super joints up and just prep them and then install them into the axle shafts. I'm kind of leaving the messiest job to last, and that is going to be the hubs. So what do I need to do there? I need to remove the seal, the bearing, and the race, and then I need to pop the new ones in there. Now, why do I say it's messy? For those of you who don't know and have never watched a video on how to do that, it's just a whole lot of greasy, goopy mess. So we're going to be doing that last today. I'm going to work slowly to make sure that everything is done properly and thoroughly, just so that there's no mistakes, so that when we do install everything back into Mischief Maker, which I'm so excited about, then hopefully we will not need to take anything apart again for a while. So enough blabbering, we have work to get done. This is what I am tackling first, and what I'm doing with these is I'm just removing the material right here where I've marked, to make room for the brake caliper. So I actually put this on, marked it off, and it's just time to grind. So let's get some grinding done. Not too shabby. Probably could do to make it a little curvier right here, kind of curve a little more, but hey, looking pretty swanky. All right, both spindles done. There was a little back and forth, so yeah, just kept going back and forth and taking a little bit off at a time, just because I am not a huge fan of the tool that I have to use for this, but it's fine. Actually, I'm kind of used to it now, and this was a lot of fun. As much as I would love to take even more material off these, I can't, and we got to move on. So let's move on to getting these U-joints out. I'm just getting this axle shaft onto the vise so I am able to get the clips out first. Okay, so the first thing we need to do to remove the U-joint is take out the little clips first. So for that, I'm just going to use a flathead screwdriver and a mallet. I may need a hammer, but let's see how we get on. So I've tried a way that I saw before. That is not working for me. So, there we go. Here we go. So clip number 1. There we go. I don't even know where that one went. Switch it around again. So that is step 1. So now that the clips are out, nothing is really holding them in place, so we just gotta take the mallet and get to work on it. Alright, I just went and grabbed something that might work a little better. Cap's coming off. There we go.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake dough. So that cap just popped off. I'm just gonna do the other side. Here we go. Other cap off. So here we go. Now we're just gonna get the rest of it off the other 2 sides. We're just going to turn it around and do exactly the same. I'm all over the place today. I have my hat on, I have my hat off. You also just saw me remove that U-joint. So now it is time to prep those Yukon super joints before installing them. But let me tell you why I'm moving from the Spicer over to the Yukon super joint. It's honestly as simple as this. Mischief Maker is a big build and he has chromoly axle shafts. Now in the last video, this is what we found, just in case you didn't see it. Here. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So this is what's happened. Wow. Yes, I managed to snap my axle shaft, which means there is a strain somewhere. Something is not right. And considering I have now broken 2 of the Spicer U-joints this year, first being at KOH, second just a couple of weeks ago, if I were to put another Spicer U-joint in there, I am just putting a band-aid on something that is absolutely categorically going to happen again. So I'm gonna fix the root of the problem, and this is what I think the root of the problem is. That is the reason why I upgraded to the Yukon super joint. Now, what I think is pretty rad about this joint is that it is a 4340 forged body joint with the 4340 cap. And just like the Fusion axles that I run, they have a lifetime warranty. So it just makes me feel a lot more confident in the build. I just needed to upgrade that U-joint so that hopefully, fingers crossed, this doesn't happen again and it can withhold the strain of, I mean, the Mickey Thompson 43 stickies, for example. Let's start prepping. Okay, so prepping these are actually pretty simple. We're just going to turn all the caps over and we are going to just put a little bit of the grease that came with the kit in each. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is take these O-rings and put them in here, so. So this is what we have just now. We're just gonna help this in a little bit. Perfect. This is where we're at right now with it. So we've just helped that in a little bit right there. That's perfect. So let's get these rings in here. Oh, but they're in there all right. All right, let's get this thing off and get the other side on. So we're now finally moving on to the hubs. So it's actually pretty simple, believe it or not. All we have to do is remove the seal. Underneath there's the bearing, and then we have the race. So we have everything set up. And the reason why we are switching these out, just because we decided to rebuild the whole front end. So it's a great learning curve for myself to see how everything fits in with each other, how to remove everything, and then how to install everything. So let's get everything out of here so I can show you. And then we'll grease all the new seals and the bearings and the race, and we'll get it back in here so we can get it onto Mischief Maker. So let's get started. So I am kind of working with the tools that are available to me here, but you can see I just have this, I would call this a crowbar. I don't know if it's a crowbar, but that was pretty simple to come out. You can see that's the seal right there. I didn't even have time to wipe it down so you guys could really see, but that is the first part. So fairly simple and easy. And we're just gonna take the bearing out. That just comes out super easy, super quick, right there. Place it on there. Now we're just gonna wipe this grease out. There's a lot of grease in there, so let's just wipe some of the grease out here so I can show you where that race is. So sometimes when you take these out, the bearings actually fall out, so you have to kind of watch when you take the hubs off. Okay, all right. That'll do for now. So you can see the race right there. Now, another question that people may have, not you people who actually work on your vehicles, but if you're a first timer trying to do something like this, like myself, the reason why I have it up on the vise is because, first of all, it's easier. It's held in place. It's not going to move when I'm working on it, but also to get the outer race out, it can't be sat on something. It needs to be elevated a little so that that race can just pop out. Okay, now we're ready to take this race out. So we're going to be using the bearing race seal driver set. Okay, so we have it right here. That's it all set up, ready to go. Pop it in here like so, so it sits flush on top of there. And then we're just gonna hammer the top of here and it'll slowly push out. Whew. Starting to heat up, my glasses are slapping. that is it out. All right, there you have it. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Show you in comparison. This is the new one. This is the old one. Perfect. And we'll flip this over and get the other side done with the pin punch set. Okay, so you just saw me take out this inner race with the brass punch. Now, when you use a punch of any sort, just double check the area where everything's gonna go back in to make sure it's okay. So when I cleaned it, I double checked the area where the race is gonna sit again, and everything looked great. So we're gonna take the race. I've already actually greased the outside of it. Just a little bit of grease, and I also just greased the inside where this is going to seat. Okay, so now we're going to take the bearing race driver and we're just going to seat the inner bearing race into the hub. That seems to be in there. That's seated nicely. You can hear the sound and you can feel the difference when it's seated in there properly, so that's good. All right, now let's flip it over and get that outer race in. Okay, so we've seated those racers in there. Now we're just waiting for the bearings. Now, this is how they come. I've actually packed all the other bearings already, but I wanted to show you guys how it's done. So this is how it comes. Look at that. Now what we have to do is work the grease into here, in between all of these right here, and it's a messy job. It's a little tedious. You can get a tool for this, where it's like a pot of grease. You pop the bearing in, you step on it, it does everything for you, and wham bam, thank you ma'am. But I don't feel like we really need that tool, so we're just gonna do it the good old fashioned way with our hands. So it's pretty simple. You just pop that down there, take your grease, get a nice fingerful like that. Put it on the palm of your other hand, like so. Take your bearing, and we're gonna start with this side. What we're just gonna do is we're just gonna work the grease little by little. Around we go, just like that. Now you can see that the grease is going in there, but these take an insane amount of grease. You can start to see right here, but you want it oozing out. Then we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the exact same to the other side. If you're worth it, let me work it. Just grease it, flip it, and reverse it. Wow, I feel like I'm losing my mind now. See that right there? I mean, not the middle. Here we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, I think we might be there, guys. That, my friends, is how you pack a bearing. All right, so now that we packed that bearing and the other ones are ready to rock and roll, we're gonna flip the hub over. The reason being is that we can't put the bearing and the seal on the outer side because obviously we need to get all of the internals back into the hub. So that actually gets done when we put this hub back onto Mischief Maker. So we're gonna flip them over. We're gonna put the inner bearing on and the seal, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll with the hubs. So. We're gonna just, oh yeah. Just make sure you can't have too much grease on these things. Grease on here. Pop this on in here. Just make sure that you just have this the right way around. Doesn't matter if there's grease on here. It's just wait to get absolutely smothered and coated. This on top. Almost. Look at that. In a ton of grease. It looks amazing. Woo-wee. So that is as simple as it is, guys. To take out your seal, your bearing, and your race. Or races, both of them, all of them. Clean everything up and then putting you back in. There we go. It's ready for Mischief Maker. Alrighty, we have come to the final thing that we're going to be doing today and for this episode, and that is we're going to be installing bushings into the spindles. Now, in my old spindles I had bearings, and when they came out it was filled with sand and dust and all sorts, so we're trying to eliminate that as much as possible. So we're going to move to bushings. Should be pretty simple. Hopefully I've left the most simple install for the day to last, so let's get going. All right, so this should be a fairly easy, simple install. We have our bushing. We have our bearing race driver that we've been using today. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's get the other side done.